Hello! It is the week of October 19th, and here is your assignment for today. You're going to watch this video. I'm going to walk you through some notes. You're going to come up with 2 questions from the notes to think about to bring to class tomorrow. We're starting to think about the election coming up, and so I want you to look at these issues and decide these are controversial issues for some people. What would be one side of the argument? What would be the other side of the argument? And then you're going to play a Represent Me game, and I have another video on how to play that and fill in the worksheet. So let's get started. I'm going to go through some notes, and you pause the video whenever you need to. You are going to fill in the definitions for these things, and then I would like you to find some pictures, something that you think represents that concept. Some of these concepts can be a little bit more difficult. So you want to think about pictures. You can Google or think of a picture that kind of represents whatever these concepts are. So we're going to talk about some bigger, larger ideals in the government. Our first one I want to talk about is popular sovereignty. When we look at the Constitution, the preamble of the Constitution, it says, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union." And that's very purposeful to put "we the people," because the power in our government does not come from the government itself. The power comes from the people. And we're going to talk about that today. That's a little bit harder of a concept. And I want you to think about, if it said "we the government of the United States," how does that completely change the idea of what the United States was founded on? So we really hold on to this idea of what we call popular sovereignty in our country. People are the only source of the government power. Power is received from the people, and we don't like what the government is doing. We take the power away from those people in the government. So Phil, this is your first notes that you're going to fill in. Popular sovereignty. People have the power, and we get that power by voting for our representatives. We have a representative democracy, which means we elect people to vote for us, so that I don't have time to go to Washington, D.C. and vote on all the laws. I'm very busy in the classroom. So I elect a senator who goes for me to Washington, D.C., or I elect a senator that goes to St. Paul for me to vote for me. So they're the representatives in our democracy. And you talked about that last year when we did government systems in 7th grade. We can also call this a republic, which means the same thing. So when we talk about political parties and Democrats versus Republicans, technically those words mean the same thing, that a government for the people, by the people. They're just different words for it. And so last year, when you learned government systems, you learned about the representative democracy. We elect someone to decide for us. You can also have a direct democracy where people vote on everything. It takes a long time, but you can do it. We do use direct democracies once in a while, and we'll talk about that in class tomorrow. So we elect representatives, and then our representatives go to Congress or the government and represent our ideals to vote on bills and other policies that the governments have. So our representative is who gets elected, and then the people they represent can be called constituents. So we are the constituents of the representative. And you're going to play the Represent Me game, and like I said, there's a video for that. All right, so make sure you're filling those notes. Pause the video, go ahead and find some pictures. Then I want you to think about, these are pretty heady concepts. I want you to come up with 2 questions just in general about these. It can't be like, what's the definition of one, because we're doing that right now. But come up with 2 questions in total about just these notes what kind of things would you still ask yourself about these? Next thing you're going to do, we're going to be talking about issues in the next election and researching presidential candidates. So I want you to fill out this chart and think about what's one side of the argument or the other with each of these issues. Each of these issues can be controversial for certain people. So the amount of people paying taxes, what would be one argument, what would be another? And just using your background knowledge, if you can't fill it all in, that's okay. But you should be able to fill in most of it thinking about why these issues would be controversial and what would be on one side and what would be on another side. I'm going to say the environment and business. but you can just do the environment if you want. All right, now the last part of this is to watch this next video on how to play and fill out the worksheet.